not adjust your computer screen. It's your mind we're changing. Stories set to a theme. Think outside. Universe Box.
Say hello, Riff hi there. We're in a bit of a spot. I wonder, could you help us? Our car is broken down about 2 miles back. Do you have a telephone we might use?
From the heavens to your ears, this is Universe Box, and please note the fire exits at the back of the podcast. I'm Bill Meeks.
And I'm Anne-Marie DeSimone.
And yeah, that was my college rendition of Rocky Horror Show.
That was actually my first time seeing Rocky Horror was at West Lib.
Actually, that was actually my first time seeing it too, that opening night performance. But welcome again to another wonderful show. Let's see here. One memento.
What do you do?
Hold on, I think we're
Hold.
Okay, I think we're good. Okay, never
Are we
mind.
holding? Are we going? Are we holding? Are we going?
Yeah, but this week we're actually hold on 1 second.
Holding.
Sorry, live people. I'll try and cut this out of the regular episode.
What happened?
Oh, I hope our audio driver's not crashing. 1 second.
Score.
It happens sometimes, folks.
Let's do the time warp again. I do not.
Okay, well, it's going weird again. We're just going to go ahead and go with it.
Go with it.
Okay. So I think, yeah, I think we'll be okay. Okay.
Okay.
Hold on. Let me adjust some levels here just to be safe, and I'll go ahead. Video podcast
This
watchers,
is a bonus.
You guys get the tech stuff. It's a lot of fun. Yes, but this week, what are we talking about, Anne-Marie?
It's in a box.
It's in the box. What's in the
box?
box? What's in the box?
box?
What's in the box? What?
Never.
What could it be?
Never with the
what
camera.
could it be?
The Frozen camera. It's
It's
theater.
Yes. This week we're talking about theater with an RE. Thank you very much. We'll pop open the Wonder Box to analyze the classic mockumentary Waiting for Guffman. Then we'll call Jason in the Memory Box to talk about our college theater days. Next we'll pull out some questions you submitted through the Idea Box. And finally we'll enter the Box Theater to teach everyone a little bit about theater etiquette. But it's going to be a lot of fun, right?
Yes. Lots.
Did you
confused.
get those flipped all
I
okay
can
there?
never
Okay.
No, the box, and I'm frozen.
Excellent.
The box just confuses me.
Here, from the heavens to your ears. This is... Hold on.
Oh no. Oh, that's...
Forgot to record.
Are we streaming?
We are streaming.
Score.
Guys, we're back. We're gonna start from the top. Sorry about the delay and everything, but I think we should be good to go now. Let me just get this project saved. And VO2. Okay, and we should be good now, hopefully. I think. Shoot. Let me double check here. Oh, 24, huh?
24
hold
what?
on. It keeps changing the level on me of the vocals. But okay, I think we're good to go now. Okay, excellent. From the heavens to your ears, this is Universe Box, and please note the fire exits at the back of the podcast. I'm Bill Meeks.
And I'm Anne-Marie DeSimone.
And the show must go on, as they say.
The show must go on.
Despite any technical errors or anything, the show must go on.
I don't care if you fall and break your ankle, you are going on that stage, Mr. Meeks.
Yeah, and if you caught the song right up at the top of the podcast, that was my college production of Rocky Horror Picture Show, or the Rocky Horror Show, rather. A lot of fun. A little dance solo I did there. You might want to check out the video version just to check that out. So, Anne-Marie, what's in the box this week?
Well, today in the box, theater.
Theater.
Do I? No,
What
maybe.
is theater? Maybe you might have a camera.
No
Maybe.
camera. That's okay.
That's okay.
So
yes.
we have theater.
Yes, this week we're talking about theater with an R-E, thank you very much. We'll pop open the Wonder Box to analyze the classic mockumentary Waiting for Guffman. Then we'll call Jason in the memory box to talk about our college theater days. Next, we'll pull out some questions you've submitted through the idea box. And finally, we'll enter the box theater to teach everybody a little theater etiquette, which is always good because you need to.
You have to know what you're getting in for. Yeah.
In the theater and everything, for sure.
Absolutely. Let's make this happen.
Let us make this happen.
Let us make this happen.
Well, I guess we'll go ahead and bring in our guest, my old college roommate, Jason George. JG, how you doing?
I'm well. How are you guys tonight?
We're doing good.
Minus the random technical fails and everything. I think we're doing okay.
But isn't that typical for the theater show?
It really is.
It is.
And isn't that just appropriate? That's great.
That is completely appropriate.
Yeah, and I'm sure we're going to have a lot of stories later on about, overcoming
flubs.
Flubs, just in general, I guess. But before we get started, I'll take a drink. And I thought it would be a good idea, since it's the theater episode, if we all did a few vocal warm-ups.
Okay, vocal warm-ups.
Which, you tend to do before a play or before a rehearsal or whatever.
Usually musicals. I didn't have to do
so
vocal warm-ups.
I can remember 3. So I'll do the 3 I know, and then if you guys know any, we can do them too.
Okay.
Okay, so the first one's a tongue twister.
Okay.
And so repeat after me.
Okay.
Moses supposes his toes are roses, but Moses supposes erroneously.
Moses.
Let me try this again. Moses supposes his toes are roses, but Moses supposes erroneously. Let's try it one more time, a little faster.
Hey, you can join in over there, by the way.
I'm still trying to figure it out. All I've got is Moses, toeses, and erroneously.
Yes.
Let's try it.
Okay.
Try it another time here.
Okay. Moses supposes his toes are roses, and Moses supposes erroneously. Oh.
Moses supposes his toes are roses, but Moses supposes erroneously. Moses supposes his toes are roses, but Moses supposes erroneously. Okay.
Oh, okay.
I think that's good.
Okay, you guys kind of sounded kind of creepy there that last time.
We should have been staring. Hold on, let's do it staring at the camera, okay? Moses supposes his toes are roses, but Moses supposes erroneously. Moses supposes his toes are roses, but Moses supposes erroneously. Also, I'm wearing tights.
Oh, good. And it was hidden by the lower third. You can't see his tights.
Hold on. You can see my tights.
You can barely.
I just kind of hopped in there on the Moses. Roses.
Moses roses erroneously.
Okay, the next one is a singing one. Okay, so this one, I'll do it once and then we'll try and do it together, okay?
Okay.
And my voice is already shot, so this is a catastrophe. Okay, Butterfly, 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 flutter by, flutter by, flutter by, flutter by. Okay, you guys got that? Pretty simple, right?
Okay.
Okay, let's do it in 3. Oh,
I'm reluctant to sing, guys.
So am I.
Carry a tune in a bucket.
Hey, neither can I, and I just did it. So turnabout's fair play. Don't worry, my off voice will completely mask your off voice. Don't worry. Okay, so in 3, 2, 1. Butterfly, 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 flutter by, flutter by, flutter by, flutter by. Very good.
Okay, I had to listen to you guys do it together.
Okay, one more time.
Okay.
Staring at the camera for creepiness.
All right.
Butterfly, 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 flutter by, flutter by, flutter by, flutter by.
JG just has like a slight delay, which makes it sound hilarious. Yes, I absolutely
love it. It's fantastic. I love it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Okay, and
that wasn't the delay. I was just slow.
He just has no musical timing whatsoever.
Yeah.
It's cool.
I got no rhythm.
Okay, well, JG,
rhythm is a dancer.
Why don't you? Do you know any vocal warm-ups we could do here, real quick?
Well, I remember one we did in high school. It was a Enunciate the consonants, spit out the words, round all the vowel sounds, or else you'll be a nerd.
Okay, give that to us one more time.
Okay, if I can remember it again. See, I have to think about it real hard when I do it. Okay, it's enunciate the consonants, spit out the words, round all the vowel sounds, or else you'll be a nerd.
Okay, I think I might be able to do it this time. Okay, third time's the charm. You ready, Anne-Marie? We're going to try
I'll
it.
give it a shot.
Okay.
Okay. Ready?
Okay.
Yeah.
Enunciate
the
consonants,
spit out the verbs.
Oh.
Something
Round all the
vowels
vowels
in nerd.
Nerd.
Perfect.
Nerd.
Yeah.
We did it. Okay, we're all vocally warmed up now. So I guess we should go ahead and get into our first box, which is
The Wonderbox.
the Wunderbox. Now it's time to find out if we'll rediscover the wonder we felt from our favorite movies and TV shows in the Wonderbox. This week we're offering a penny for your thoughts and a dime for your dreams. If there's an empty space, just say a line. That's right. We're talking about Waiting for Guffman. Now, Anne-Marie, why don't you get us started with our rhyming movie summary?
God, Corky just wishes he could put on a show. Does Blaine have the budget? He doesn't know. A Broadway producer is coming to town to turn the lives of our cast members around. The book is okay, but the acting is rough, man. Those folks on the stage are waiting for Guffman.
Guffman.
Guffman!
2015's premier superhero, Guffman. Oh, by the way, JG, just so you know, in the video version, since we don't have a live video feed from you, what we've done is we've positioned Corky in between me and Anne-Marie, so and we're just going to pretend he's you.
You are Corky.
Cool.
I'm honored to be Corky.
Okay, so usually I start this out by asking everyone what they think about it, but well, actually, yeah, Anne-Marie, because Anne-Marie had never actually seen Waiting for Guffman before. So, what did you think about it? I know, right?
Everybody was curious how I made it out of Westland without seeing it 700 times. It made me want to go put on a show.
Yeah.
I was like, I miss the bad, crazy acting. Let's go do this.
Come on, Judy Garland, let's get some methamphetamines and go put on a show.
Whoa.
Reference to Andy Hardy movies, if you guys know them. But JG, you've known this movie for quite a while, right? In fact, I think you might have introduced me to this movie, if come to think of it.
I might have. I actually sent you an email regarding my first viewing of this movie.
Yes,
Which
and
we
we posted as a blog post.
Oh, okay.
You're on the internet.
Yeah, but you can go ahead and tell the story extemporaneously if you want. If you want to check out the full blog post, universebox.com.
All right. Basically, it went like this. When I was a senior in high school, my friends and I were really into trying to find really bad movies and watching them, unintentionally funny movies. And what happened was, to give you an example, the one I gave in the email was the movie Jack Frost, but not the one with Michael Keaton. The one that's got like the hologram cover of the killer snowman.
Oh, yeah, the horror one.
Yeah, what sold us on it was the fact that, the snowman was killing somebody in the shower. Think about that a moment. But anyway, the guys rented Waiting for Guffman because the cover looked absurd because Corky's like wearing the beanie and like all this stuff. And they watched it without me, and then they got a hold of me and they're like, dude, we like found a movie that's actually great. Like, it's not bad at all, and you have to see it, because I was the only one in this circle that did theater. Watched it, loved it. Like, absolutely loved it. And I've probably watched it 1,000,000 times. I mean, literally.
I mean, and that's just with me, and we haven't seen each other in like 10 years or something.
Right. And this movie led me to like loving everything that Christopher Guest does. Like, Best in Show, my particular favorite, Mighty Wind. But I mean, anytime Fred Willard comes on the screen, I laugh. I mean, he doesn't even have to do anything. He just stands there and like smiles, that grin,
Oh, just that doofy grin.
I love it. It's been great. I mean, we quoted it and quoted it and quoted it. I mean, we were like wrote lines from it on the placemats at the Big Boy. I mean, I don't know, all kinds of stupid stuff. I love it. Just love it.
Oh, yeah. Such a good film. And if you hadn't guessed, I enjoyed this movie, too.
Yes.
But I guess we'll go ahead and start in the main discussion here. Now, one of the first things that really struck me, both watching it originally and rewatching it yesterday, was just how many sort of like small real theater moments there are in the movie. Just like these little
Yes.
things where if you hadn't been on the
show?
stage,
Yeah.
you wouldn't necessarily catch or realize. But just a few things that I wrote down here that caught my attention. The first thing was them going hubbub, 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 hubbub on the stage.
Rabble,
But-
rabble, 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 rabble.
Exactly, which is something that feels so ridiculous to do anytime you have to do it. Just like make
I always did real words.
Yeah,
I always had random little conversations or said explicatives about the people's feet.
Yeah, I know a lot of times a mutual friend of all of ours, me and Justin McConaughey, we would always try and make each other laugh as much as possible.
I can see that. I can see that.
But another one that kind of struck me, just because it was so specific, was I can't get past the cow. When Eugene Levy's trying to edge his way past the cow and everything like that.
Like, but how do I get past the cow?
Like, there was just so much time wasted in rehearsals spent figuring out how to do stupid minor things like that. Like, oh, let's take 2 hours and figure out how I should take a sip of this drink so I don't dump it out all over the stage. Or, something
the
like
amount
that.
of time it took me to learn how to knit so I could knit properly on stage. Like, I think Mita, our tech director, pulled me like 3 or 4 weeks before we opened and was like, this is how we knit. And made me practice with her like every week so that it looked real because it had to be real.
I know in high school for our Town production, I played Dr. Gibbs, and we actually had to do like a whole 45-minute rehearsal on miming unfolding a newspaper while the prop person did it off stage, like
Oh my
timing it out and
gosh.
stuff.
Well,
So
it's funny you
ridiculous.
say that. I mean, in high school, I was in a production of Grease, and I played Sonny. And during the big rumble, everyone at the Burger Palace boys, they all have a weapon. And Sonny's weapon was a zip gun. Well, naturally, a bunch of late 90s kids were like, what in the world is a zip gun? So Ray, the late, great Ray Figler, who was my psych and history teacher, and he played sax in our pit band. And he was an older school guy from New England. And he basically one day gave a demonstration on what a zip gun was and how basically it was a homemade gun that fired a 22 round. And we were like, this could really kill someone. Like, I've got the most hardcore weapon on here. Like, and he spent, I swear it was 20 minutes just explaining the history of it and how you build one. And I'm glad we were good theater kids because it maybe would have given us some ideas, So, so the little things you learn and the things that like that, and the little minor details. Because I'm carrying this gun around on stage and I have no idea what it means, how it works. And finally, I asked, and the director said, "Well, let's have a little history lesson on the zip gun." So, yeah,
Nice.
there you have it.
Nice. Yeah, and a couple other things that were just felt very real to me. And actually, JG, we'll probably we won't focus on it right now, but losing someone opening night, or almost losing somebody opening night. Do you remember Rocky Horror when we almost lost the riffraff?
Yes, because I was the stage manager, and 2 days before the show, they were doing costume fittings with me. As I had already established, I can't carry a tune in a bucket.
Yeah, I was going to say we have established that you can't sing at all.
Nope.
But you were going to have to do the most vocally challenging role in the entire show.
Yeah, the hardest role in the show as far as vocals go.
Yeah,
And it was pretty terrifying. They're like, we'll get you excused from all your classes and everything, and we'll just work with you all day. I'm like, won't help.
I believe, not to name names or anything, but I believe something had to be worked out with law enforcement to get Riff Raff to the show for several nights. And the one other thing that kind of felt like very theater to me, like very much my theater experience, was the Ron and Sheila characters, Fred Willard and Catherine O'Hara. Just because they're actors who aren't necessarily really good at what they do, but they have a presence in the local theater scene, and they've been there for so long that they just end up in every show because no one can turn them away anymore because they've, stayed after to count the money or strike the set or whatever.
We know these words. These words.
They're awesome.
They are.
So awesome. Like, they're my favorites. Eugene Levy's Dr. Pearl is also pretty excellent. But but Ron and Sheila, I also mentioned them in my email to you. Awesome characters.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I love that he gives her notes on the performances. Tip: never do that. You should never give a fellow actor notes.
No.
Well, I guess maybe if you're working a scene together, maybe you'd be like, hey, can you try yelling that line or something? Maybe.
I
but
mean, maybe
not
if
in, like, a
there's
rehearsal
not,
setting.
yeah, I was gonna say if there's no director or stage manager present,
Mm-hmm.
sure, and be like, hey, you're stepping on my toe, don't do that. Like that's fine, but
Yeah, and-
and the fact that she was like mouthing his words in an audition.
Love it. Extensive notes, 2-3 hour sessions. You know, I love that.
Yeah,
Love it.
and just one line I jotted down here, mainly because I remembered how much you loved it, JG, was just like, strike it. We've done a few shows with Corky, so we already know the terms going in.
Like right off the bat at the audition, they're so cocky about things that they shouldn't be cocky about. Like, oh, strike it.
Strike it.
Strike it.
Yeah, didn't we used to yell that at each other across the dorm room, like, strike it?
Yeah, just random things. Oh, this chair, strike it. Oh, I've done some shows with Bill. I know all the terminology going in. Like, and like that's a term you can learn from like watching primetime television. Like you know, like you don't have to have any theater experience to know that strike it means move it, take it off.
Just take it away. Make it go away. Okay, so as a first timer, I fell in love with Corky.
Naturally.
How could you not? Okay, first of all, the burning of the newspaper just for the effect. It was like
In Backdraft, the musical.
Backdraft. And then like what the headlines like local theater nearly burns down or whatever. Like,
yes, that was quality. His collection in his store at the end, I was like, how many Anthony Michael Hall dolls do you need, dear? What's the running price on that?
Oh, here,
this is my remains of the day lunchbox.
my dinner with Andre action figures. No,
Yeah.
I will just...
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I was just going to mention to people watching this, if you're watching this on YouTube and you're trying to chat over there, we're not over there. Just so you know,
yes.
we're at now, we record this live Thursday nights at 8:30 p.m. EST at live.universebox.com with our own IRC chat. I just wanted to thank Scotty Rowland
Thank
for
you,
setting that up and
Scotty!
everything. I think that's working out well, and that'll allow you guys to stay in there and chat after we're done with the episode, too. But sorry.
Which is a big complaint from the audience. The storytellers are like, the chat has ended. I have 4 more hours before I feel like sleeping. What shall I do?
But you had a point you wanted to get to,
The rest of the point, I love his lofty dreams and his lofty budget, and the fact that he actually proposed getting that amount of money from such a small city. They're like, no, not happening.
I mean, they all had everything built into the budget, and that includes swimming.
Yeah.
Includes swimming. Includes swimming.
Yes, it was some ridiculously low amount. It was like $15,000 or something.
It was $15,000.
Yeah, right.
That was fantastic. And how he just took the stage when that cast member was forced to quit by his father. I was like, that is good on you. I'm sorry your pants don't fit, sir. I don't know. I just loved Corky. He was precious.
I loved it, and I got to get back to Backdraft for a moment. The one random dude when they're interviewing him, he's like, "I can still feel the heat." Love that movie. Love it so much.
Oh yeah, it's just such a good film. I kind of viewed it a little bit in a different light. Like I don't know if you've been listening too much, JG, but a lot of times what I've been doing with these is I've kind of been approaching them like we approach like Once Upon a Time on ABC or Gotham on Fox and our other podcast, and try and like think of kind of watch them a little bit like I'm watching them for the first time. Try to see new things, see new dynamics that I might not have seen before.
I've been listening. I'm aware.
Excellent.
I like it.
Excellent. I won't. I'll cancel the Assassins then. Perfect.
Assassins?
What? Oh, so that's why that red dot just vanished.
That's that dot
Yes.
right there. Just right, put away.
Yes, that was not
Okay,
a bindi.
okay.
That was the laser sight. Okay, but anyway, so I saw something in the movie that I hadn't seen before, and actually has a bit to do with Corky. And that's, I kind of saw some maliciousness in Corky this time around. Now, first of all, I think Corky isn't so concerned with the show being a big hit or anything for him to get his big break. He's concerned about being the star of the documentary that's being shot about the play. You can see that a lot, like him just trying to sound smart for the camera, and him trying to position himself between other characters and the camera when they're doing like more of the cinema verite kind of shooting and stuff. Yeah,
That's really interesting, Bill. I never thought about that, and I've seen it a million times, like I've established.
yeah.
No, I've never thought of that. That's really cool.
And it kind of led me because when the music teacher starts trying to kind of step in there and wrest control away from Corky, I think, and that's when Guffman happens. I think he invents Guffman there. I think Guffman's completely fictional, and that Corky invents Guffman to ensure that he'll stay in front of the cameras because he doesn't want the music teacher there. And so once that works and things are progressing to pace, and he goes and he tries to get this extra budget and everything. I think he asked for such a ludicrous amount to make sure that the board can turn him down to increase the drama within the documentary, thereby increasing his character appeal because he's the put upon director who the town won't finance his play.
Oh.
And so he knew they'd ask him back eventually because who else is going to do it, right?
Right.
But it created some drama to kind of give his character play within the documentary. Now, I admit that, the guy who comes in and sits at the seat at the end during the musical part, who they think is Guffman, and, Corky bringing him back there to meet the cast like he is Guffman, and the telegram coming up and everything, could blow a hole in my theory. But then again, I also think that Corky's just the kind of sociopath who would fix it, who would hire the guy to come in and sit in the chair and send the telegram to himself.
I don't even know necessarily if they hired the guy.
Maybe he just came in accidentally.
I think he just came in accidentally, and he had to bring him back because they were all like, he's here. He had to bring back whoever was in that chair.
Yeah.
It didn't matter whether, it was little Susie's cousin. Like, he was bringing that person back.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it was just like I started to see this sort of different dynamic to the movie, which I hadn't seen before. So I thought that was interesting. Any thoughts on that, you two?
First of all, I think the music teacher doesn't really try to assert himself too hard. I mean, he's just kind of like, I think we should work on the music a little bit more. But Corky totally overreacts. So I think it's interesting that you say that because, watch that scene again. Corky really goes over the top there. Come on, dude. I mean, he's trying to be very kind. Like, actually, this soft-spoken, this guy, you know what I mean? He's not really trying to be obnoxious, and Corky really blows it up. So, I don't know. There might be something to that, Bill. But I kind of agree with Anne-Marie. That does seem kind of like, the guy was just accidental, I think.
Yeah.
He just wanted that balloon for his kid. Which, if you watch that again, I think the kid that he talks about is way too young to have a balloon.
It's a newborn.
Oh, yeah, a newborn baby.
Yeah,
right?
A newborn does not get a balloon.
That's right, a newborn baby. You don't give a newborn baby a balloon.
I barely give my 7-year-old a balloon.
Yeah. So
right.
I definitely think that probably the interpretation that most people take away from the movie is correct, but I thought that was kind of a different, interesting way to look at it. And if that was the case, it would kind of cast the character of Corky in a slightly different light.
Slightly different, yeah.
But
I like it. Okay, so my next point is I love the magic of theater that you definitely see in this because that morning they're still putting the set together and working on blocking, and someone calls and quits, and by the evening it's a perfect production. There's no problems for anyone. Minus trying to get the alien through the door.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, Dr. Pearl's lazy eye. You'd think they would have addressed that sooner.
You would think, but he couldn't wear the glasses. It was 1890 something.
When they're like, Blaine Fabian, what do your keen and perceptive eyes see, or whatever, and he's stumbling around the aforementioned cow. I mean, it's just great. You'd think that they would have done something about that sooner, but you're absolutely right. Everything kind of goes off without a hitch.
Yeah, it's just absolutely perfect. I'm like, you were down a cast member 7 hours ago. There ain't no way.
Right.
Nice. Okay.
That Johnny Savage, I knew he was bad news. He came into my store one time and he tried to steal my stamp machine.
Nice. Okay, well, we're going to get back to talking about this in just a second, but actually our good friend Rebecca sent in a little video. JG, if you can mute yourself, by the way, for just a moment. We're going to play this video from Rebecca with her thoughts on Guffman, and then we'll be back to talk about it a little more.
Hey, Universe Box. Heard you were talking about waiting for Guffman, and it made me want to come down to the DQ. Just get a Coke. Yeah, just get a Coke. My first memory of waiting for Guffman was when I was in high school, and a friend of mine was like, oh, you gotta watch this movie, it's so funny. So one weekend we went down to the Blockbuster Video and rented the VHS of Waiting for Guffman, and that was my first taste of Corky St. Clair and his troupe of actors. And it's been one of those go-to movies for me ever since when I want to laugh. Waiting for Guffman is one of my all-time favorite movies. It is an underrated comedy, and as funny as it is, I think one of the best things about it is that it's a bunch of people who get together and they make something happen. They make their dreams come true. They all live out their dreams of being on the stage, and not a lot of us do that, and I think that's really cool. So no matter whether Guffman showed up or not, those people, that group of actors, if you want to call them that, they achieved their goal and achieved their dream, and I think that's a really cool part of the movie. But so funny. So I'm paying homage to it at the DQ.
Yes, and thank you very much, Rebecca. JG, you can come back if you want to.
I'm here.
Yeah. Speaking of that, 1 second here. Un momento.
No? Oh, no.
Sorry about that, folks. We're having like some problems with the audio here. Let me.
JG's audio keeps turning itself way up.
Yeah, I think it's actually all the audio, and I also
is it?
think we just lost our good recording too, which is fun.
Oh.
Sorry, streamies. I think we're gonna have to go back and then come back again in just one moment. Hold on, let me see if I can get that Audacity file back here. I hate that. Sorry about that, folks.
Sorry,
I'm gonna get this
guys.
figured out this weekend. But JG, we're gonna be
My camera's
rebooting.
froze.
Okay, buddy.
So
Together.
okay, we're coming back here as soon as the Emery comes back. Emery Cam comes back.
I'm here.
Okay, so yeah, sorry about the audio issues, guys. We're gonna try and keep going on, even with all these problems here. You know, it happens. But
But
okay,
you know, Bill, I gotta say, you're breaking one rule.
what's that?
The third one.
Everything you do, make sure the audience thinks sure you
Did it on
did it on
purpose.
purpose.
Very good advice, JG. Very good advice. Okay, so like Rebecca was talking about with the whole Dairy Queen thing and everything,
Oh, the Dairy Queen.
I kind of found a lot of sympathy in this movie for Libby Mae Brown, Parker Posey's character. For one, hold on one sec. For one, I think she's probably the most tragic character in the whole thing because while everybody else is super delusional, she's just inexperienced.
She's young.
Yeah, exactly.
Naive.
Naive, yes.
I definitely think that out of all the characters, though, she's the most likely to make it if she tried.
Yeah.
But unfortunately,
Agreed.
yeah. And I think she kind of sees it too because as soon as she realizes that Guffman's potentially going to show up, she immediately quits her job at the DQ and everything.
That's
that they
insane. I thought that was completely crazy. I was like, excuse me, hold on. What?
Yeah, but I also it was really sad though that it seemed like when she was after the play and everything, when she was trying to leave and her dad gets out of jail, she comes back, it pulls her back, and it kind of feels almost like it's going to be the termination of her dream.
Yeah.
And that she's probably going to be at the DQ or something like the DQ forever now, sadly enough. And in small towns like this, some unfortunate folks get one shot to launch
Leave.
themselves up out of it or out of the mess or whatever. And unfortunately, I think she missed her rocket.
I think she did.
in
Too,
this
yeah.
case.
Yeah.
Hold on one second.
But can I come back to something
Yeah.
Sure.
that was said in that video? I think she really put on. I'm sorry, the echo is throwing me off just a little bit. Forgive me.
Oh, sorry about that, JG.
No, that's okay. But I think she made a great point that the theater, it gives us all an opportunity to act, to do a thing, whether we do it well or poorly or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And you do kind of fulfill your dreams a little bit, at least for a couple hours.
Yeah. You get to be somebody
I like
else.
that. Right.
Yeah, and we definitely got to see that a bit with the Dr. Alan Pearl character too, which we'll talk about in a minute for sure. But you wanted to talk a little bit more about
Ron and Sheila.
Ronnie and Sheely?
I love that they finally left and they basically got put in their places. They thought they were all high and mighty and wonderful. No, Ron and Sheila, you are extras and you are hey extras. You are not hey Ron and Sheila. I loved that. There's nothing wrong with being an extra. Get over it. Enjoy it. One show does not make you a star.
No,
Especially
definitely
since
not.
there was no Guffman.
Right. some people find it ironical that being a travel agent, I've never been out of plane.
I also like how they called it a glamour position. Like versus being a dentist, the travel agent was a glamour position.
Nice.
That was a lot of fun. Okay,
I forgot about that.
speaking of the dentist, Dr. Alan Pearl, absolutely love Eugene Levy in this role.
Terrific.
He kind of he reminds me of a deaf person that really enjoys music. He doesn't hear the individual notes in the comedy, but he appreciates the vibrations. His audition is absolutely sublime. Sitting through bad musical auditions like that, I'm sure we've all been to musical auditions where there was someone who just couldn't sing but thought they could and made everyone else sit there during their 10-minute
They always took the
audition
longest
song.
too.
Or at least it always felt the longest.
You're like doing Meatloaf's "Bat Out of Hell" or something like that.
They're like doing the entire book of Les Mis for their audition.
The Swanee River.
Way up upon the Swanee River. But he's definitely like the 14-year-old nerd who finally gets to hang out with the cool kids, and you can totally see it in his face pretty much the whole movie. It's
terrific.
Oh yeah, and I also thought it was a very theater moment too. That in the beginning, everyone's making fun of him, marginalizing him, Ron especially.
Yeah.
But then once the show started and curtains up and everything, he's part of the family, just like anybody else,
Well, after you spend that much time together, of course you're going to become like a family.
Yeah, and everybody's jumping to his aid when he's trying to come through as the Martian and everything. It's beautiful.
When he's trying to get around the horse, the cow.
And I also thought it was interesting that in the end, this story really functioned as Dr. Pearl's origin story, from small-town dentist to cheesy lounge singer in Florida. I've always wondered how those guys end up in that position. This is one such way, I guess.
That's how it happens.
I love it.
It's really from the encouragement of the audience, too. Like, they knew that there was no Guffman, but that audience had such an amazing reaction. Like, I absolutely love how the townspeople were acting like this was the best thing ever. We have never seen anything better. What?
I think part of the thrill for the townspeople was that it was like all these people they knew.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why they had these thundering ovation. Because there's the dentist and he's in the show. That show would not sell anywhere else but Blaine.
No, no, you couldn't. Well, it was Red, White, and Blaine.
Yes.
It couldn't be anywhere else.
And to steal a word from Ron, that's what's ironical about them thinking that they're going to go to Broadway. Nobody cares about Blaine but the people that live in Blaine.
Yes.
Very true.
It totally drove me nuts, though, that the magical, mythical Guffman character was seated in the middle of the show. No, sir. You do not get seated unless it is intermission. You do not walk in the middle. That drove me a little crazy.
Well, see, this is another piece of evidence in the container of maybe Guffman wasn't real to begin with. Maybe Corky was like, "Hey, usher, let this guy in," or whatever.
But Corky would know that.
But Corky was on stage.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even though he did do off Broadway.
Off Broadway.
Right.
Okay, Anne-Marie, you wanted to wrap up here with a point about the audience here an hour into the show.
I just covered it.
Oh, did you? Okay.
I covered it.
There we go. Sorry about that. I'm still trying to sort out the tech issues.
We're a little fuzzy. It's okay.
Okay, so I guess it's time to ask if this Waiting for Guffman, if Waiting for Guffman passes the wonder test. Does it hold up to the same wonder it felt when we originally watched it? Anne-Marie, I know this was
Seeing as how this was my original time watching it, yes, sir. Yes, it does hold up to itself. No, it definitely made me feel like I should be back and doing theater, and maybe this Plays for Actresses book, I'll just pick it up and... Bye, guys. See you on the stage.
Or this How to Sell Yourself as an Actor by Kay Callan, Ma Kent from Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman that we have here
She's
too.
done so many things.
Okay, and as for me, yes, a definitive, yes. Yes, it's a wonderful snapshot of the spirit of community theater, and it probably helps that I watched it so many times, coming up through theater with dear friends like Mr. Jason George there. Does it pass the test for you, JG?
100%.
100%.
But the thing that always gets me when I watch it is, am I that bad when I act?
Yes, that's what I was thinking. I was like, oh, that's me, isn't it? I'm that girl.
I'm not
Are
self-aware
the people
enough.
just cheering because they know me?
Well, that's still a cheer, I think.
Yes.
Oh, definitely.
Definitely.
But you know how it is. People don't want to tell you that you sucked it up.
Right. Especially if they're not the theater people.
Mm-hmm.
If it's just like, your great Aunt Ida, she's like, oh, sweetheart, you were fabulous.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we're going to get into talking a little bit about our old theater days here in just 1 second. But first off, we just wanted to mention real quick that we have let me bring it up full
Patreon.
screen here, a Patreon. Now, this is a way you can come in and help support us, maybe help finance.
Help us figure out
troubleshooting.
why we've been having technical difficulties this week.
Yeah, and you can some creators set it up by, episode or by creation. We've set it up by month. So please excuse the sound recorder thing there, trying to figure things out. But basically, you can go in, you can donate a certain amount a month, 10 cents, all the way up to, whatever you want, $50 if you want.
$500.
And it'll help us hit certain milestones. Like the next milestone we have to hit is $200. If we get $200 a month, we'll do twice monthly movie commentaries.
Yep. Patreon exclusive for the first 6 months.
We're already doing patron exclusive hangouts. We're doing
This
the first
Saturday.
one this Saturday at 8:30 p.m. Right? We'll have information about that over on the Patreon page, and you get rewards too. We'll do anything from give you all the Dog Boy books for free to record the song of your choice as an MP3 and send it over to you. Make a really bad sketch for you, or write a handwritten letter for you. All sorts of stuff like that, and you can help us out and take advantage of all of this stuff by going over to patreon.com/universebox. Again, that's patreon.com/universebox, and donating a little bit every month. And
We appreciate it.
we'd really appreciate it. And
It'll bring. Hopefully, we won't crash so many times.
yeah, I was going to say by next Monday we should have all of the technical issues figured out.
This will be
hopefully.
his entire weekend. He'll be sitting at
Yeah.
this computer going,
Just like,
"Why won't you work?"
Yeah, it's fun.
The feeling it's going to be me, 3 small children, and 2 birthday parties for a couple hours.
Possibly. Okay, well, now it's time to dust off a few damaged brain cells as we 3 old stagehands tell you about our time in the theater program at West Liberty State College in the Memory Box. And we're going to, in the video portion, as we talk here, we're going to be showing some pictures from our days in theater. And we have a picture of me and Anne-Marie and a picture of JG I took for him from a project I did called the Storybook Playtime Show with him wearing a backwards baseball cap. It's fun.
Oh, yeah. You're looking good there, G.
I look young there.
Yes, very.
Yeah, we all do.
Okay, so I guess I guess a good way to get started here would be to go ahead and talk about each of our backgrounds in theater before we got into theater together. So actually, JG, why don't you go ahead and start? What was your experience in theater before West Liberty?
Well, it was kind of like a family tradition for me. 2 of my older brothers, they did theater in high school. And I remember freshman year, I didn't audition for the first play because it was a musical.
Mm-hmm.
I've established why. But I was in the theater class. And the theater director just asked me point blank, why didn't you audition for the show? Do you want to act like your brothers? And I said, well, yeah, but I don't sing. And she said, well, there's non-singing parts. So it encouraged me to try out for the spring play, which was a contest play. We did 1-act play at state tournaments. I got a role in the play, and I still remember my first line that I ever spoke on stage. And it was like my only line. And it was, what if you're on a blind date and your date tells you you have a toenail stuck between your teeth? That was my very first line on stage.
Oh, there was no punchline involved?
That was the punchline.
Oh, okay.
It was a play called Removing the Glove.
Mm-hmm.
And what it was, like being left-handed was kind of like a metaphor for being homosexual. So it was not cool to be left-handed. Keep in mind, I have nothing against homosexuals. I'm just saying that was the joke.
Yeah.
And when you came out as a lefty, it was called coming out of the glove compartment.
That's pretty funny. That's pretty clever.
It was hilarious. And then I continued to do theater throughout high school. I wrote plays for state competition. I won 3rd place.
Ooh.
And then also I acted in all the musicals and the rest of the contest plays. So that's how I got started.
Very cool. Very cool. Okay, Anne-Marie, how did you get started? What was your pre-West Liberty experience?
Well, since you're both from the Valley, you may have heard of a little show called Hosanna.
Hosanna? Yeah.
I saw it at the St. John Arena in Steubenville.
Yeah, I was there. I
Okay.
actually only did it 1 year. But other than that, that's all I've got.
That's pretty much it?
That's I ushered in high school number 3, not high schools 1 or 2. But the problem was I wanted to audition when I got to high school number 3. I was like, that's it. I'm doing theater because I'd always wanted to because of my brief stint in the Hosanna. But I missed the first auditions. And then when I saw the show, I psyched myself out because I thought they were too good. And I never auditioned because they were all my friends.
Mm-hmm.
So I basically I was the track cheerleader, but it also ended up being the theater cheerleader because I would run out and get everybody dinner and bring them back food in between track and theater. So
Cool.
that was my life.
But when I think of a theater cheerleader, I think of the cheerleaders from Saturday Night Live, you know?
Well,
like cheering for the chess team.
Well, I might as well have done that too because I was a cheerleader. So I was like,
That's
here's your
pretty cool,
apple slices. Have some fries. No. So that was my background before West Lib.
Excellent. And let's see. As for me, my theater background before West Lib, I tried out for a couple of plays in high school. I didn't get into any of them, but I did end up meeting my first girlfriend at one of the auditions, and less said about her, the better.
Yep.
But she took me down to a little theater in Wheeling called Towngate Theater and had me try out for a show called The Children's Hour, which I believe was also had some homosexual themes in it. It's about 2 children or teachers at an all-girls school who like there's whispers in towns that they have a lesbian relationship. And I played the very pivotal role of the grocery boy who came in and stared them down, and like all the hate of the town had to be in my eyes, sort of thing.
Nice.
So I had 3 lines, and but I got some confidence going out on stage and everything, and then I tried out for Our Town at Wheeling Park High School, my high school, and got in, and got one of the major parts, one of the fathers, Dr. Gibbs. I believe actually the first non-stage manager character who shows up in the show.
Interesting.
Actually, the newspaper boy might have shown up first, but so I did that, and it was a lot of fun. And I was like, okay, that's it. I'm done with theater. And then I got to West Liv, and I heard they were doing Rocky Horror, and we were off to the races.
And the addiction began.
Actually, I might have heard about that in JG's dorm room. JG, do you remember how we met?
I do remember how we met. And first of all, before I say anything else, understand if I sound like I'm like kind of like rambling or something, it's because of that echo. So
You're good.
Oh, yeah, and I definitely do apologize for that. But.
Oh, no problem. Well, I believe we met the first summer that I was working at Brook Hills Playhouse. We had a mutual friend, and it kind of came through that, I believe. Isn't that half?
Well, I don't think we met through the Playhouse. I think.
No, that's how I met another friend of ours.
Yeah, probably.
Never mind.
Probably the guy who introduced me to you, Sam, right?
Sam.
Yeah, because
Yes.
Sam was actually. I did some summer shows at Towngate Theater, and Sam is one of the guys I acted with in those shows. Him and Ryan, Big Ryan.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know who I'm
Big
talking
Ryan?
about. Yeah.
Oh, I do.
But whatchamacallit, so so when I got up to West Lib and I found out Sam, or I saw Sam up there, I was like, hey, what are you doing? We should hang out because I don't know anybody here. And he took me over to JG's dorm room, right? Or was it? It was
That's
Bachman
right.
and Terry's, and you were in the suite next door.
That's right. And that's the first time I met you. I was thinking of our friend Joey. Never mind.
Probably for the best.
Wow.
But it was love at first sight. Of course.
Oh, naturally.
Precious.
And so then, we were hanging out with this mutual group of friends, and I end up trying out for Rocky Horror, and you end up being the stage manager for Rocky Horror, which we saw a clip from at the top of the show.
Yeah, and that was the best stage managing gig ever. They actually asked me to stage manage it because I did one in the previous thing called the Rhymers of Eldritch, and I had to call 123 light cues or something like that, and some of them were right after another.
Wow.
So they said, hey, you should stage manage Rocky Horror in the fall. And I was like, that would be awesome.
Nice.
That was a party every night.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Everything.
like it was really weird because I often, like, when I get into conversations about 9/11, I bring up that show just because it happened. I think it was like the third or fourth rehearsal for Rocky. And I remember, like, we were all wondering if we were going to have rehearsal. Riley called rehearsal. And
Riley's like, yes.
Then he gave us this stirring speech about how, in the face of adversity, art must go on and all that kind of stuff. Very fond memory. Well, not a fond memory.
It was really inspiring.
Yeah, exactly. And he made it seem like we were doing something important there in our fishnet tights.
That's one of my favorite things about John Riley is that he's always made it important, and he made you take it seriously. And if you weren't going to take it seriously, adios. There's the door. Don't ever come back. You will never.
He's a wonderful director and a wonderful person.
Yeah,
actually,
definitely.
he judged me in those contest plays in high school.
Oh,
at
really?
The regional festivals. Yeah. So whenever I came to audition for a play at West Liberty, he was like, "Oh, I remember you. You were Flute in Midsummer Night's Dream." It took a lot of guts to wear that costume at a high school.
Nice.
I can see that.
Nice, yeah. But Rocky was a lot of fun. That was also my first musical, if I remember correctly. So that was a little nerve-wracking, but it was a good time. I think we already pretty much shared the riff-raff story. Anything else you remember from Rocky, JG? Any other fun little anecdotes?
Well, the place was a mess every night after the show.
Oh yeah, because of all the.
Even though I was the stage manager, I still didn't help clean up.
Well, there was confetti every night, and I know that a couple years later, when we were doing the strike for Hamlet, I think
it was Hamlet. There was still confetti under that
there was
stage.
still confetti everywhere.
There probably even is still confetti, and they've done construction, like major
In
construction.
my box of mementos, I actually kept an ace of spades from the audience that was thrown, during the show.
Nice.
And one thing I do remember well about Rocky Horror, maybe Bill will remember this as too. So you remember how sometimes the actors would maybe ad lib or whatever, and how there was that one really particularly loud fan?
Oh, yes.
Do you remember when our Rocky acknowledged him breaking the fourth wall?
Yes, I do remember that, and how Riley completely freaked out because, like, it wasn't the character who's meant to break the fourth wall, right? It was the one who was less dressed, if I remember correctly.
I'm sure.
Exactly.
Yeah, I do remember because I forget what it was, but he said something directly to him, and only Frankenfurter is allowed to talk to the audience, or at least in our production.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah, and I forget exactly what happened to that actor. I know Riley wasn't very happy with him.
He was not
very
happy at all.
if anybody broke the rules.
Trivia, if you're watching the slideshow on YouTube, there's a picture of that actor somewhere in the slideshow. You'll have to guess where.
As you point to it.
Yeah, as I point to him as being the character on the screen. Nice. But okay, so let's see. So we did Rocky. That was the fall semester at West Lib, and then Anne-Marie, I guess you can probably pick it up here because there were auditions for a children's show, right?
It was during the Rocky Horror. I was the gypsy Lydia. And that's my first show.
That was the actual voice you did.
That really was. It was based on the Jamaican fortune teller lady on TV.
Oh, Miss Cleo?
Miss Cleo, yes. That was there she is. Miss Cleo. That was my inspiration for that role, and the fact that I actually got a call back and then got cast was ridiculous.
Well, Crystal who directed who directed all the children's shows at West Liberty. She was very much in the, I don't know, like the Mad TV kind of humor sort of thing.
Yes.
She would often take things from popular culture and make you act that way.
Yes.
or she would be like, okay, I want you to do King Thrushbeard as a Saturday Night Live character or something like that.
Oh, King Thrushbeard.
Lots of Saturday Night Live
Lots
characters.
of Saturday Night Live.
JG, you were in that show too, weren't you?
Yes, I was. I was the echo of the forest.
Which is quite convenient
Most
since you're
of my
the echo
lines were
tonight.
delivered off stage into a hand mic.
Nice.
And when I did come on stage, I told them I wanted elf ears, and they gave them to me.
Of course. Of course they did.
Nice. Hey, I was the stage manager for that show, but Anne-Marie doesn't actually remember me. That was the show we met on.
Yep.
And considering you're my wife and everything now, it's kind of weird that you don't remember actually meeting me.
My first memory of you is you sitting on, I think, was it Crystal's house?
Yeah, Crystal's house.
You and what's her face were sitting on the couch, and we gave you your Jack as your
you guys got me a big bottle of Jack.
A big bottle of Jack.
My
That
stage
is
manager
literally
gift.
all I remember.
That's fair. That's really all I remember too. Getting the bottle of Jack, and then it was the next morning.
And then it was the next day. Yeah. No.
I don't know what
Oh,
happened.
that was the great thing about being a stage manager. You always got a big bottle of hooch when the show was over.
See, and that
Oh,
makes
for
me
sure.
regret really never stage managing. I'm like, I could have done really good. No.
Well,
They got me a bottle of Crown one year.
Ooh.
Nice. Well, the thing is, you had to do a lot of hard work in between all of the stage
know, yeah.
managing stuff. Too.
Well, that was the thing. They wanted me to stage manage a musical. I'm like, no. I had no experience whatsoever. I think I'd only been in like 2 shows at that point. I'm like, you don't want me doing the fall musical here, guys. I'm sorry. I'm a sophomore.
Okay, so let's go ahead and skip ahead here to, especially since the audio is still messing up a little bit.
Yeah.
But why don't we go ahead and skip ahead to Flea in a Rear?
Oh, okay.
Which,
Have fun.
Anne-Marie, you'll have to
fun,
sit out on
folks.
this one. But Flea in a Rear was a really fun show because, first of all, it was the first show I was ever in where I got to play a villain. And I played a Don Carlos Hominidas de Histangua.
Oh crap! I was gonna say it.
Oh, you were gonna say
And
it?
I wanted you to go. I salute you.
I salute you. I salute you. Yeah, there we go.
Remember, I was at the end the valet, and I always introduced people when they came in.
Oh yes. Okay. Oh yeah. We can do our actual line from the show. I have the script here. But go ahead. Go ahead. Give me the setup.
I would open the sliding doors. I would walk out, and then I would announce, "Senor Don Carlos Hominidos de Estangua."
I salute you.
Right, and Bill would like pop out like really fast.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Doro.
yeah. That character was really just like all fast action. It's kind of like a similar archetype to Ricky Ricardo, sort of like that.
Yeah.
That very angry Spanish or Latin character with a lisp. To denote a hint of royalty. But yeah, he was all very like big, brash movements,
is.
stomping around, and with a tiny little gun and a tiny little cape that I had them put on because I liked it because Zorro.
Of course.
Yeah, I also I messed up my knee really bad in this show, and it wasn't like, because I was doing like crazy things like jumping off platforms, stairs, over couches, because it's a farce, so there's a lot of action. But I actually injured my knee. I was back in the dressing room, sitting backwards on a chair, talking to somebody, and I got up and I swung my leg up over the chair, and something just tore in my knee. And this was like 2 nights before we opened. Oh. So I
I remember it.
Yeah, so I was like limping when I wasn't on stage, but somehow the adrenaline from
You
being
find
on,
the adrenaline on
Yeah,
stage. It's the lights and the audience
Yeah.
and the John Riley yelling from the light booth. And
yeah, I wrapped my knee up super duper 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 tight and hoped for the best and just gave it my all. And I still have problems with that knee. It was worth it though.
it was worth it.
'Cause it was a
It
good
was a good show.
Yeah,
Sometimes you just got to push through.
Yep.
Exactly. JG, what was that? I think I remember you saying back in the day that was the biggest part you had ever had up to that point or something.
It was the longest play I'd ever been in.
That was it.
Like a 3-act play. It was. I had a couple parts that size before, but that one was pretty large.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you got to sit out a big part of the second act in it. You just got to hang out backstage and everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
My main stuff was in Act 1 and 3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, mine was kind of like I came out at the beginning of Act 1, I think. Then I come back at the end. Then I come out back for the end of the acts both times because I'm the guy coming in trying to kill the main character.
Oh, well.
Because I think he's sleeping with my wife or whatever.
Wasn't he?
Yeah. No, he wasn't. It was his twin. No, it was a letter. There was like a mix up with a letter. That was the whole plot. Yes. Now we know the whole plot of Flea.
And now we've talked about the show.
Yeah. No, but that was really awkward. And this is probably going to get a little too personal, but it's okay.
Here we go. We're getting personal, folks.
It was a little awkward because the girl I was dating at the time played my wife in that show. And I ended up breaking up with her right before our last performance because of something that had gone down at the cast party the night before. Horrible form. You should, if you're a young actor, you should never ever do this. Don't cause drama between actors. Right before the last show. Bad idea.
Bill, do you remember the time that my castmate cussed me out right before we went on in that play you wrote?
Oh, yeah, the stranger, right? The one who
Something
wasn't
like
part
that.
of the Playhouse gang, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember people in that show not liking that girl very much.
It was pretty crazy.
Yeah, for Fractions. Yeah, because
Yes.
Fractions was our kind of like independent student run thing, and I wrote a show for it. JG acted in it, and then
I was in
Anne-Marie
the
was
other
in
one.
in another person's show. Okay,
And this girl just cussed me out badly, like right before the
Mhm.
show, and then I had to go on and act like I was in love with her.
Oh.
yeah, because she was like the one you had like the big crush on, and you wanted to break up with your girlfriend for. If I remember that plot I wrote years ago.
That's right, buddy.
Yeah, actually, I think I still have the script somewhere for that.
I do too.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. Okay, so let's see here. Well, I want to talk about the Playhouse for just a minute, JG, but first I just want to touch very briefly. We did traveling children's theater, and I just wanted to tell one quick story about
Is
Anne
this
Marie
the story
here.
that I think it's going to be?
Yeah.
I know it's going to be.
Everybody
I know what
knows.
it's gonna be.
Everybody who went to
We're-
West Lib knows the story.
Hey, JG, were you there for that?
I just heard about it later today.
Okay, that's fair.
Okay, first of all, I would like to point out this was the morning after you broke up with the girlfriend.
Well, it might have been the second time.
Either way,
Yeah.
you broke up with her the night before.
Mhm.
The two of you weren't speaking. We're at the
Yeah.
elementary. Okay, first of all, let's set it up.
Okay.
It's like 8 a.m. We're at the elementary school right up the road from our school. I don't know if any of us had slept. He broke up with the girlfriend they were both in the play, as well as there was Ross, which if you watched last week, Ross Roast, it was that Ross. There was one other person and me. I may possibly have been at a fraternity party the night before with an excessive amount of beverage.
What kind of beverage?
Jungle juice.
Okay.
If you're not familiar, Everclear. If you're not familiar, it's probably illegal in your state. So there's your setup. We do our show. I'm dying. The two of them aren't talking, and I'm pretty sure they were married in our show as well.
Yeah, because I was King Thrushbeard.
Yeah, well, these shows, it was 3 mini stories where we all played different characters. We're in costume, we're out of costume, we're running around things, we're singing badly and all this and all these little people. And we had to pack everything up and put it in our van. And we get out the door and the door shuts. It literally locks and can't open again the second I need to puke. My name is Anne Marie, and I have puked lime green bile on an elementary school in college.
Yes, on the back of the elementary school. It was
And
fun.
what we did,
Classic college story.
and what everybody did, get in the car, go.
Quick before they find out. Well, no, it's fine though. That'll be a good story to tell the kids one day for sure.
Can we wait till they're at least 18?
Okay, so JG, I kind of in our first episode, I shared quite a bit of my memories of the Playhouse. So why don't you just talk a little bit about our summer, the summer of '72 at the Playhouse? Let's reminisce a little bit. You know, I'll jump in and stuff, but I kind of shared my favorite memories back in episode 1. So why don't you go ahead and tell embarrassing stories of me or something?
Well, a little background on the place.
Mm-hmm.
It's a summer theater in an old barn in Brooke County, West Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
And every summer they perform 5 plays. Bill and I worked together there. We built the sets, we sold the tickets, we kept the place clean, and occasionally we would act in the shows. And that's where Bill did Clue.
Mm-hmm.
The
Yeah, which
music.
I'm wearing the costume from. The upper part of the costume is from Clue. The bottom part is from when I was in Hamlet.
And this place was just great. We worked like 12-hour days, 6 days a week, or 7 sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't get paid very much,
Nope.
but it was all worth it because usually it was pretty fun.
Mm-hmm.
Hard work, though. I loved it.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, you even went back a couple summers, right?
One summer I didn't go back. It was 2 years later.
Yeah.
And we really enjoyed ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of
And we
jealous.
would do things, after the shows and like hop the fence and swim in the pool and stuff.
Or set
Pretty
picnic tables on fire. Let's see. There was Mr. Pickles, the Playhouse cat.
Yeah, Stray Cat came around and became our mascot.
Yeah. Now, hold on. I have
here
to.
we go,
I have
down
to get
memory
I have a
lane.
picture of Mr. Pickles here. I have to pull it out to show the camera.
Show it.
Well, while you're looking, I'm so jealous because I was actually supposed to be at the Playhouse that summer, and I turned down the job.
Because we were there.
We had a lot of fun.
Yep.
She
Trust me, I realized I was like, this was a bad choice. I should have done that.
Yeah, here's if you can see it.
No,
Oh,
no,
oh,
no.
oh, okay.
Nope. Can't see
Fail.
Mr. Pickles.
That's fair. Yeah, but it was a good time. A lot of wild times too, which is probably
Best left unsaid.
less said about it the better for some of
That's
it.
Universe Box After Dark.
Universe Box After Dark.
dark.
Dun, 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 dun,
The
dun, dun,
late
dun.
night.
Okay, so let's see here. Let's wrap up with just a couple of general questions. We'll start with JG. JG, what was your favorite show or character ever that you've done?
I have two.
Okay.
One of them was the aforementioned flute / Thisbe in A Midsummer Night's Dream,
Mm-hmm.
because I did drag, and I got to do a lot of crazy stuff in that part. And it was really fun.
Mm-hmm.
My other was, believe it or not, a part I had 2 years ago.
Oh, really?
Would be summer before last. I actually went back to the Playhouse to just watch a show.
Mm-hmm.
And a bunch of people after the first act asked me if I was interested in acting in another play in August. And the play was called Bathroom Humor, and it all took place in a bathroom.
And we
it was
have
also
them.
a farce.
Yeah, we actually have that script here. Actually, the Anne-Marie cam might show it off better.
Yeah.
There you go.
I was Stu. The guy had like 3 monologues, and he always went into the bathroom to do all the drugs.
Wasn't that the
So
part
it was
our
really fun.
mutual friend Sam played when Wes Lib did it?
I believe so.
I
Yeah, I
enjoy
think
that
so.
you keep calling him our mutual friend Sam.
Our non-mutual friend Sam. I don't know what that even means.
I don't even know what that means.
I think so.
Okay, Anne-Marie, what was the favorite show or character you ever did?
I'm gonna say it's actually not at West Lib. It was at Cleveland State,
Mm-hmm.
which most of the pictures that involve me are actually from. It was called 5th of July.
Uh-huh.
It was my first show at a new school with a whole new everybody. I knew nothing about it. I got a decent sized role in it, which kind of shocked the out of me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was nominated for an Irene Ryan award. So I had to compete against, I don't even remember how many people in Indiana
Mm-hmm.
or Illinois. I don't really know. It was an I-state for a competition. And I was like completely confused. I was like, what is an Irene Ryan? Why am I nominated? What's going on? But it was an awesome show. And are these the ones? Yeah. I kept my shoes.
Nice.
I like shoes,
Mhm.
and they let me keep these, and they're vintage. And
Nice.
back in the day, they were worth a lot of money.
I always tried to keep at least like one item of my costume or a prop or something from every show I was in.
There's pictures going around of boys next door. Hey, right there it is.
Mm-hmm.
And there's another shoe.
Perfect timing. Perfect timing.
Love shoes.
And as I mentioned, the tights and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and actually, I'd say probably my favorite character show would probably have to be a tie between Professor Plum from Clue the Musical and actually Inspector Hubbard from Dial M for Murder, both that I performed that summer at the Playhouse.
Interesting.
Just
And both were excellent.
thank
They
you.
were fun.
Thank you, thank you for lying, JG. I appreciate it. No, but it was just
Dial M was good.
It was a great show directed by one of my good friends, Billy Clough, and all of my good friends were in it. Gretchen Schneider, Justin McConaughey, Nick Taylor.
The crew.
Yeah. Like it was just a really tight crew and a really fun show. And the reason I loved being in Clue the Musical so much is because there was one guy on our crew out there at the Brook Hills Playhouse who just didn't like me very much. I just got under his skin for some reason. And it especially started getting really, because back then I always used to make like your mom jokes.
Oh,
Just like generally your mom jokes. And this guy would
I
get
know where you're going with this.
yeah. And this guy would just get really, and he might be in the slides too, you don't know. But he would get really upset with me anytime I made a your mom joke. And we were always like, what's his big deal? I mean, it's just a your mom joke. It's about the collective mom, not like anyone's individual mom. And then his mom tried out for Clue the Musical.
Oh.
And so I was Professor Plum.
Oh.
And she played the detective or the inspector or whatever. And we had a duet together where I had to try and seduce her. Because me and JG sort of had this theory that maybe the reason that your mom jokes offended him so much is because they maybe hit a little too close to home. So this guy was constantly like getting on me and like getting on my case and everything else. But whatchamacallit, he had to sit at the back of the theater every night and watch me seduce his mom live on stage. So it was kind of just poetic justice.
So I'm guessing.
Oh, and it was a 2-week run too.
Yeah, it
Of
was a
course it
2-week
was.
run. So what was that, like 8 shows? Something
Yeah.
like that?
8 shows.
Wow.
Amazing. Okay, guys. Well, we were going to talk a little bit about our careers post Westlib, but this technical issues got me all bummed out and everything. So maybe we'll just have to commit to coming back and doing another theater
I
episode
think we
here.
need to commit to. Can we save our box theater for the other theater episode?
Yeah, I think we can save our
I was
box
like,
theater
can we
too.
please save that?
But
So
thank you so much for joining us, JG. You're always
Yes,
a great
thank
guest when you've been on Greetings from Storybrooke, and we knew you'd be a natural fit for this episode too. You have a Twitter account now. Do you want to point people towards that? Because you've been afraid of the Twitter because you're weak, and you're
Yes,
strong.
If you heard me on Greetings for Storybrooke, you know that I never really wanted a Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to look for me on Twitter, it's at JJasonGeorge. That's me.
Yeah, and if you follow him over there and mention him, maybe he'll get a bunch of email notifications, and maybe he'll start using
he'll
it more.
remember that he has a Twitter and
'Cause
he'll use it.
That would be nice because
Yeah, I forget about it.
JG's like one of the 4 people I have to go onto Facebook to interact with, and it would be really nice if he would just come on over to Twitter. That would be pretty
Come
sweet.
back to the rest of us.
I'll make it happen.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, JG, well, we're going to go ahead and let you go here, finish up, but thank you again so much for joining us, and we'll talk to you later, okay?
Bye, JG.
Anytime. Thanks for having me.
Okay, bye. Okay, so JG's gone.
And
Now
we
the
talk
real
about
fun
him.
starts. No, I'm Okay, so let's see here. Next up is the idea box. Let's go ahead and switch back over to the main shot here, where you guys submit ideas to us at universebox.com/ideabox, and we generally discuss them. So we have a few questions here. The first one is, by the way, Anne-Marie, I'm pretty sure our audio problem was the Google plugin thing because the
all
audio
better
level's
now?
been fine now.
Okay, so
Yeah.
we won't be doing that ever.
I'll just have to get a cord so we can call people with my actual phone in the future. So at least we know that now. Okay, so are there any parts you haven't played that you would like to?
I haven't even thought about that in roughly 10 years, well, 9 or so years.
Yeah.
Because it hasn't even been an option. I've only done one thing since I graduated, which is really sad because I have a theater degree now.
Yeah.
Directing. I want to do more Shakespeare. It's not necessarily because I'm aged out of the characters I liked.
Yeah.
Because at the time I was 20. Not 20 anymore. But yeah, I'd like to do some Shakespeare. I'm hoping maybe in the next couple years, once the kids are in school, all of them full time, I can actually like do a show.
Yeah, I would like to too at some point. I'd like to try my hand at a musical again because back when I did the musicals that I did do, I was a pretty heavy smoker, like a pack and a half a day.
Yeah, you were.
And I was also a really heavy drinker because I was in college. So now that my vocal quality has improved, I think it would be interesting to try out a musical again. And the one part I've always wanted to play, and I think I could still play it if I shave.
Actually, yeah, you probably could use. I think you've lost about 5 years with all this weight loss.
Yeah, with like what, almost 40 pounds.
40 pounds since December.
But the part is Seymour Krelborn from Little Shop of Horrors. That's always been one of my favorite shows. I used to watch. I used to watch the movie every day back in my apartment, my first apartment when I moved out because I didn't have cable, so I just had a VHS player, and so I'd watch Little Shop every day.
Yeah.
And I have all the songs memorized still. One day I'll get my shot. Maybe one day we'll. Maybe, if people kick in some money at patreon.com/universebox, we can pay for the rights and do our own version of Little Shop on the show. Maybe that could be a milestone. That'd be fun. Okay, what's the worst audition you've ever had, Anne-Marie?
Oh, God. Okay. I know we were talking about this offline about Christine and the Strongsville play that Waiting for Guffman reminded me of. So in college, there was, I was living at home, and my best friend had actually moved in, and this was at college number 2. I like to have numbered amounts of schools. And we were like, hey, let's go to this audition for the local community theater because there was nothing going on right now at school, any of the usual places. So we went. It was for Dracula, I believe. Oh, gosh. First of all, it was community theater, so I was like, whatever. And then I had to do an accent, and I couldn't do the right accent. Like, I could not make it come. No matter what. So I ended up doing this really bad New Yorkie accent. It was supposed to be British, and it just was horrible. And we all just laughed. I just was like, thank you. It was awful.
Yeah.
Awful. It was also one of the few times I never typically auditioned in front of people. I feel like most auditions were private.
Yeah.
And this was like a round table. It was like everybody was just sitting there. I was like, okay, hi. So
Nice.
there's that.
The worst one I ever did was probably my one for. I ended up getting cast in the show a couple fairly larger parts in Hamlet actually. Well, because I had been like I was a theater major for a while, and I got cast in Of Mice and Men as Curly, the old man who runs the ranch or whatever where they're at. And I was having some personal issues. I had a death in the family, a breakup with all sorts of bad business.
Bad things.
So I ended up having to drop out of the show, and I ended up changing my major over to broadcasting. So I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm never doing theater again, ever. Oh, I love this song Skid Row. Oh,
Yes, I see.
Bobby says the MP3 he wants to Suddenly Seymour. I actually do a really good cover.
I think that's
on
like
guitar.
the third song that that people have asked for.
I can actually do both parts. I have both
Merry
parts memorized.
Christmas.
Should I do it now?
No.
Okay, we'll save it and we'll do it privately for Bobby. And he
Yeah,
can,
that's his Patreon
yeah,
thing.
that is his patron reward. But where was I? Oh, okay. That audition. Yeah, so I had dropped out of the theater program, and then I decided, because a couple of the guys I knew, Justin, Billy, Josh Fromhart,
Vive la classe.
they were doing their last show, Hamlet. So I decided to go ahead and try and be in one last show with. We called ourselves the Clique.
Vive la clique.
Yeah, so we were kind of like the power group in the theater. So I went ahead and auditioned.
They were the what's their faces. The what was their names? Ron and Sheila.
Oh yeah, we were the Ron and Sheila.
They were the Ron and Sheila.
No one would tell us we were bad. No, those other guys were very talented. But so I went in for the audition, and it was on pretty short notice. So I rehearsed with my friend Jason Day for about an hour in his dorm room before going over for the thing, like a soliloquy, a Shakespearean soliloquy. I forget what it was from, and I get up there and I completely forget it. And I start freaking out, heart palpitations. But it's John Riley sitting there, and he's like, "No, that's cool. Just take it from the top."
Oh my gosh, he scared me more than anything to audition in front of.
Well, I think at that point he was probably just happy to have me audition
Back,
again.
'cause he loved you.
Like I didn't get the part I wanted. I didn't get the bigger part I wanted.
I didn't get the part I wanted either.
But it was fine. I had a great time, and it was really great to get one more time on that stage. I think that was the last play I ended up doing too.
Probably since you left right after that.
Okay, so we're about to get into the mailbox here, but first up, what's in the box for next week, Anne-Marie?
Here's the box.
And here's a Clue the Musical script, a Hansel and Gretel script that we talked about.
Oh, we didn't even
Good Woman
talk
to Set
about Good
Salon.
Woman.
Yeah, Good Woman was
Good
insane.
Woman was awesome.
The cast party was insane.
There's pictures.
Rocky Horror, there are pictures.
Oh,
Flannery.
CSU people. The Illuminati. Illuminati.
So what is in the
The
box
show
for
that
next
I
week?
loved, but that broke me. I'm not kidding. In the box is a piece of paper that says
dun, 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 dun.
Nickelodeon, Nicky's Kids.
Yes, Nickelodeon. Next week's Universe Box is the podcast where only kids win. Prepare to get slimed because we're talking about old school Nickelodeon. What was your favorite Nicktoon? Did you have a crush on Clarissa? Did you like Pete or Pete better? Tell us the first time you saw Double Dare. Nickelodeon. Next week on Universe Box. And if you want to send us your Nickelodeon stories, thoughts, memories, your favorite show, anything. Email us at universeboxshow@gmail.com. Tweet us at universe_box. The Facebook is facebook.com/theuniversebox. And the voicemail number is 424-274-2352. Again, that's 424-274-2352. And as luck would have it, as usual, our first voicemail is from Bobby. Take it away, Bobby.
Thor.
It's Bobby. So I've been a fan of theater for as long as I can remember. When I was pretty young, I actually remember trying to put together a production in my neighborhood of Wizard of Oz, I actually went around like casting my friends in the different roles and whatnot, but unfortunately I couldn't get it funded. But I was in chorus in elementary school. Of course, we did your usual like singing at assemblies, but there were actually a few productions that were put on. And one of the earliest ones I remember doing was in 2nd grade, or maybe 3rd grade. But it was a production of A Christmas Carol. There were auditions and everything, and I won the part of Tiny Tim. But unfortunately, I guess, trying to be fair to all the students or whatnot.
Hey, I would just like to say that I played Bob Cratchit in A Christmas Carol, which technically makes you my son, Bobby.
Instead of doing like...
Oh, go ahead.
I was just saying, I played various characters.
Yeah, I was various characters too. But
yeah, but none of mine were cool.
Yeah.
Like
understudies or something like that. They actually had a few different roles where they had 2 different people playing their parts. So there were 2 different people playing Tiny Tim, which even at the time, when I was 9 years old, upset and confused me. But whatever.
Aww.
What upset me even more was like the way they split it up. So there's this part in the middle. I believe it's the scene when Scrooge is visited by Christmas present, and he goes to see the Cratchit family, or Cratchit. Well, anyway, I believe Tiny Tim has like this long monologue, like blessing Scrooge, and because it was such a long set of lines, I was the only one that I could remember it, and they had me do that part. But they had her do the most famous scene at the end of the line, God bless us everyone. So she learns like 3 lines or 1 line, technically, 3 words. God bless us, 4 words. Anyway, another production I remember doing was Annie. I was actually one of the orphans. And then once they left the orphanage, all the orphans were off stage in the chorus, singing back up to like Hard Knock Life or just the different songs of the play. And another moment I had to shine was when I played Rudolph's little known redneck cousin, which I believe has come up on another podcast of yours. They had me dress up in like a plaid shirt and overalls and a straw hat with antlers coming out of it.
Yes, I remember.
Blue nose. And then I would stand at the back of the auditorium while the rest of the chorus stood up front and sang Buford the Blue-Nosed Reindeer, and it went something like this. Did you know that Rudolph had a cousin from out west? Every year he wants to be on Santa's team like all the rest. Here comes Buford, put a hitch in your get-along. Can't you speed up, you tag along. That's all I can remember, unfortunately. Anywho, those are my thoughts on theater. Can't wait to hear what you guys' thoughts are, and as well as the thoughts on Waiting for Guffman, because Christopher Guest is one of my favorite filmmakers.
Our thoughts are
amazing.
You win the entire episode, Bobby. Yes, we'll stand and clap for you with the tights. Excellent.
Bobby, you're my hero.
Yeah, by the way, I know the shorts don't go with the tights, but I wanted to protect my modesty and I couldn't find my spare pantaloons. Okay. All right, thank you very much, Bobby. You want to read this letter from Nicole?
Okay, this is from Nicole. I grew up in a small town and went to a fairly small high school. We didn't have a huge theater department, but we did put on a fall play and spring musical every year. As a member of the choir my freshman year, I was obligated to be a singing extra. We did the pajama game. I can still sing all the songs. I had fun, but loved the behind-the-scenes things so much more than being on stage. An actor and dancer, I am not. That was the last year I was in choir, but I did help with just about every production until I graduated. I loved building sets, staying late after school, getting high on spray paint fumes. I have scars on my fingers from where I was burning the ends of a nylon rope to keep it from fraying. I held the lighter directly under the rope. Melted nylon does not feel good. Such brilliant teenagers we were. I dated the main sound guy sophomore and junior year, so I got into the sound running end of things during the productions. After sound guy moved away, I became the main sound guy that didn't really know what she was doing. Definitely made some mistakes, but it didn't go too badly.
I sympathize with your sound issues.
Oh yeah. Cleveland. I was supposed to make a gun go off. There was no gun. Somebody just had to die.
Well, I was more referencing tonight's episode.
Oh well, tonight is just a whole different kettle of fish.
We did a production of How I Learned to Drive, where I was not only the stage manager, which meant I was calling all of the lighting cues, but I was also the sound designer and the sound operator.
Oh gosh!
So I had to do all of that at the same time. It was nuts.
Do it all.
And the projections designer and caller.
There was a lot of cues in that show too.
There were, and I did a lot of the behind the scenes tech work.
Of course you did. Pat yourself on the back, Bill Meeks. Good job. Okay. After high school, I didn't do anything more in the theater. Looking back, working with the theater productions were some of the best times of high school. Working together, building things, the drama on and off stage, all of the fun inside jokes with the cast and crew, striking the set, strike it! Cast and crew parties. I would go back and do that part of high school again. Only that part. And band. Definitely band. Thanks so much for the podcast. Looking forward to hearing all theater stories. Thank you, Nicole.
Yes, thank you very much, Nicole. And
Bandy!
Okay, and to wrap up here, we have a few fun little stories from Hope. So why don't we go ahead and play that video, and then we'll be back here for some takeaways and to wrap up this very extra long episode of Universe Box.
Hey Bill and Anne-Marie, it's Hope. I'm sorry it's so dark. My living room is dark, but I wanted to give you some Universe Box inception going on because the YouTube app is a great way to catch up with Universe Box. Anyway, your subject this week was theater, and I was a theater major in college, and I've done theater since forever. and but I wanted to give one of my favorite stories ever of theater, because while I went through college and did all that theater, probably one of my favorite stories ever was when I was in high school. And we were doing Godspell, and we were doing it a little bit differently. We actually took out the Tower of Babel scene, and we wrote it to where Jesus was a city worker and Judas was a social worker, and all the apostles were homeless people. And we rewrote the entire Tower of Babel scene to where it was all about how they became homeless. And some of them had been homeless for years. One woman had lost her baby and her husband left her, and that made her homeless. While another guy, his wallet got stolen, so he was only homeless for a night. Anyway, it was really fun. It was one of my favorite stories, but I was working props for this show, and the way we killed Jesus at the end, was that we had this road sign as a cross, and we put it up against an electric fence, and it killed him. It's theater. But there was one night where we were running our show, and I was up in the booth. We were waiting for intermission so we could do a props change. And about halfway through the first act, my stage manager grabbed my arm and went, "Where's the cross?" And we all looked down, and where the cross should have been on the stage, we were like, "Oh my God, there's no cross. How are we gonna kill Jesus? We have no way to kill Jesus. How are we gonna kill Jesus? Oh my God, we gotta kill Jesus." And we were like, okay, it's Act 1. What we'll do is we'll just go calmly carry a sign out there. Hope you gotta carry the cross out there. And I was like, I have to carry Jesus' cross. That thing's really freaking heavy. And so at intermission, 3 of us carried the cross out there and on our backs and put it on stage because it was supposed to be there before the show ever started. And so we got back up to the booth, and we started Act 2, and my stage manager reached over me and said, "It's gonna be okay. We have a way to kill Jesus now. We're good." So that's one of my favorite theater stories, and I have tons of them from college. And yeah, but I love theater. It's in my blood. I've always done it. So yeah, have fun, enjoy. Universe Box. Watch it on your YouTube app. This is your coffee show, by the way. I'm catching up.
YouTube.
Coffee. And I'm actually, it's a little bit late, but I'm actually drinking my coffee in my Avengers cup. So this is for Universe Box After Hours. So the first story, 2 quick stories. So we were in college. We were doing Bat Boy the musical, and there's the scene. What's the song? I think it's called Children. Anyway, the Pan character comes out and they go into the forest and all the animals dance. Anyway, in the middle of this dance scene, the Bat Boy and the main girl would run off stage and they would have a quick change, and where they were quote unquote naked, but really they had just nude color stuff, and we would snap little fig leaves over their nudie parts. Anyway, my job was to snap the fig leaf on Bat Boy. And what that entailed was reaching inside his dance belt and feeling all sorts of gross, sweaty man bits. And he would just run off. So every night, including Tech Week, through dress rehearsals, through the actual run of the show, it was 2.5 weeks of me feeling sweaty man bits, snapping these fig leaves onto him, and every time I would stand up after he would go off, and I would be so professional while doing it because it was professional. We'd do it, and he'd run off stage, and I would walk up like a surgeon and go over to my fellow costume person and hold out my hands, and they would squirt like a pile of hand sanitizer, and I would in my hand, and I would just be like. So that's my gross one. And then my not safe for work after hour story is, so our scene shop teacher was a guy named Brad.
And
I think we should cut it.
Yeah, I was gonna say if that the first story wasn't the not safe for work one, then the second one probably was.
We're gonna need to cut it for the show.
But thank you very much, Hope.
Thank you, Hope. We will listen to that though, because now I'm curious.
That's the thing about theater too, is you get very personal with people you're in plays with.
Yeah.
Just like I've helped girls change their shirts like backstage.
I was
before.
like, somebody help me. Yes.
Yeah, you get up close and personal.
Very. And that is why so many relationships start in the theater.
Very true.
Because, well, you've already grabbed each other.
Exactly. Exactly. Now, don't grab yourselves. I want you to go and grab your computer and let us know your thoughts about Nickelodeon for next week's Universe Box. Email us, universeboxshow@gmail.com. Twitter @universe_box. The Facebook is facebook.com/theuniversebox. And the voicemail number is 424-274-2352. Again, that's 424-274-2352. Send us your thoughts about Nickelodeon.
Niggas, kids.
Okay, a few takeaways about theater. One, anything that can go wrong will go wrong.
Yes.
Theater is a community.
Yes.
If you go to see a show, make sure you're polite. We didn't get to that.
We didn't get to that, but
fine.
go with it.
There can be as much drama behind the curtains as in front of it. Yes. And everybody should try it at least once, I think.
At least.
I think everybody
Absolutely.
should. If you've never acted in a show before, what's the harm?
What's stopping you? Put on a show. You only need $100,000.
Yeah.
You'll be fine.
Exactly. It'll be good.
It'll be good.
It'll be good. So, Anne-Marie, where can people find you online?
You can find me on Twitter @DeSimone, and I have all sorts of bloggy stuff at crunchycrafty.com. And follow all that because I've got a lot of guest posts going out all over the internet in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, and we definitely want to thank our chatters this week.
Thank you, chatters.
Angel and Scotty Rowland and Bobby and Nicole was in there earlier, and Hope
Becca
was in there.
Hope was in there. Brett Landry was in there.
Yeah,
calling them out.
Yeah, thank you for coming and
sticking with us.
Even with all the tech issues, we'll have it fixed up for next week. That darn Google Talk plugin.
Google.
But if you didn't know, we record this live every Thursday night, 8:30 p.m. EST at live.universebox.com, and you can subscribe to our YouTube channel where we put out everything we do, as well as a bunch of short videos that you might not know exist at youtube.universebox.com. As for me, you can follow me on Twitter @BillMeeks. Okay, well, I guess that's about it. So let's take a bow. And until next time, remember to think outside.
Man, I didn't even talk about Rosencrantz and Guildenstern.
Are they dead?
They're dead.
They're not dead yet. They're not dead yet. Thank you guys so much. And yeah, almost 2 hour.
That's
stream.
because about an hour of it, we were doing this.
Yeah, I kind of wonder how I came across because the whole episode, I was just sitting, or when all the audio stuff was going, I was just like, yeah, let's talk about theater. That'll be great.
Let's talk about theater. Why the hell won't this work?
Okay, and yeah, I just realized too, I don't have the live event page up, so I can't even stop our stream. So you guys get us for a couple minutes. Yeah, I don't think tonight will be the night people will be
looking around.
Oh, thank you for changing the channel.
What's the alarm for?
That was supposed to be when Hope's thing was ending. But, yeah, but yeah, it should be better next time. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a cord so I can just plug my phone or my iPad directly into the mixing board and Skype or call people in that way.
I like it.
I was about to say thank you for saying we're awesome, but then I realized it was you talking in the chat room.
But then Scotty said it.
Yes, this is true.
He said, us Gussies are awesome.
Gussies are awesome. All right, thanks, guys.
Thank
good night.
you, guys. Have a good night.